Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today I'm going to be doing a video ranking the brand new Wave 2 of the Mandalorian Funko Pops. I'm really excited to do this video here, and I just want to let you all know at the start of the video here that this list here will not include the child pop, because that one was revealed separately from this wave, and I'm not sure if it will be coming out at the same time as it, but just know that I do really like that child pop, but it's just not going to be in this list. But for this one, we have 15 Funko Pops here, and that is quite a bit. So this video may be a little bit longer, and for each pop, I will be giving them a score out of 5, and then at the end of the video, there will be a total score out of 75, which will then put into a percent, and then I will also have my want list for the wave as well, just letting you know which pops I do plan on picking up. But if you guys go on to enjoy this video, be sure to leave it a like and also subscribe, and also let me know your list down below as well. I would like to hear your rankings for this wave of Mandalorian pops, and let's get straight into it here with number 15. Alright, at number 15 here, we have a 2-pack which includes Mandalorian and IG-11, and this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive. Now, don't worry as well, I wanted to mention this. I will not be adding any spoilers here from The Mandalorian. I know the first season has now concluded, but I won't be talking about any specific story details or anything like that. I'll mainly just be focusing on the designs here, and I may rank some characters higher if I prefer them in the story, but I won't exactly say why if it includes any spoilers. But for this 2-pack here, it's at the bottom because it's just 2 of the commons from the first wave put into a 2-pack now, and I've never really liked when Funko does that, so this one just doesn't really appeal to me. I think the designs are really great for both of these characters, but I just feel like it's really unnecessary to put them in a 2-pack. But for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 2 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 14. Okay, at number 14 here we have the Client, who is a pretty important character in the series. I think that his design is pretty good. I feel like it's more of a basic design, but it makes sense. It's not like he's an alien in Star Wars or anything. He has a very basic, just human design here. I do like his attire, though. I think that it looks pretty unique, and his hair looks good as well, and it definitely looks like the character, but it's just nothing too interesting, especially stacked against the other pops in this line. But for this one, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, or a 2.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 13. Alright, at number 13 here we have the Trandoshan Thug. This one will be a Walgreens exclusive, and for this one, I put it above the Client because even though I don't know this character as well, I feel like this one just has a cooler design overall. I really love like the scales, I suppose you could call it, on his head. I think that looks really great. I think the outfit has quite a bit of detail on there. I really love the costume design from the show. It's very well done, and I think this one's just really cool. I love the one eye closed there, and just the expression. He just looks like he's ready to get into a fight here. The weapon looks really well done also. So for this one, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 12. Alright, at number 12 here we have the Off-World Jawa, and these guys have a pretty cool role in the show. I did like the sequence that they were included in, and I feel like I really like the red eyes here. I think it stands out a lot with the black sort of cloak around them, and well, the brown cloak and then the black sort of wraps around their face. I think that that looks really unique. I like how he's given a little weapon there in his hand. I think that's nice as well. Just overall, a pretty unique design here for the Jawas, throwing a bit of a spin on their design, but just personally it's not a super exciting one here, so I'm going to be giving it a 3 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 11. Alright, at number 11 here we have Q90, and this character has a great design here. I really love the intricate details of him. Of course, he's a droid, so he has a lot more like intricate mechanical details there, and I think that that comes out really great on this pop. I like that they gave him a bit of a blaster there, which is cool, and the sequence that he's mainly included in the show was a pretty exciting one as well, and I think that this one definitely represents the look of the character pretty well here. I love the big eyes there. It's almost like a fly's head as the droid. I think that that's a really unique design, and even on the torso it has quite a bit of color there with the orange kind of showing up there on the sort of vest around his body. I think that that looks pretty nice. So overall a really good one here. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 10. Alright, at number 10 here we have the Mandalorian on Blurg, and this one is going to be a Pop Deluxe, and I think this one looks great. I really love the Blurgs in the series. They're actually kind of cute once you kind of get to know them and their more personalities or their tendencies in it. I think that they're pretty great. In the first sequence where the Mandalorian kind of has to tame one of the Blurgs, I think was a pretty interesting sequence, and I feel like he looks really great riding atop that Blurg there, and it's kind of the first version of the Mandalorian where his armor looks a little bit more busted up there. At least on the helmet it's more rusted, so I do like that. It's before he kind of has that upgraded Beskar armor, so I do like the look of that, and I think that it's just a really great one. A pretty cool base as well with that sandy sort of terrain. I think that's nice. So for this one I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 9. Okay, at number 9 here we have the Death Watch Mandalorian. This one will be an EB Games exclusive, and I really like the blue on this one. I like the sort of different shades and variations of the color on there. I think it definitely adds a lot to this one. It really reminds me of the Holiday Boba Fett from the Holiday Special. I think that that one looks very much like this one, and I really do like this design here. I think it comes out looking pretty great. I like the little antenna coming out of the side of the helmet as well. That adds some more to it, and the blaster rifle there looks pretty good as well. So a great design on this one, so I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 8. Alright, at number 8 here we have the Incinerator Stormtrooper, and this one is definitely a bold one. I mean, look at that giant red mark on his face. He's like, you better notice me, people. If you don't notice me, I am going to have to incinerate you. So it's definitely a very bright red mark there, but I think it gives a unique twist on the classic sort of Stormtrooper design, adding quite a bit of color there in the torso and legs as well. And I like the little backpack on the back there, of course, holding the fuel for the flamethrower right there, and I think that that looks cool as well. The flame effect there is really nice, adding a more dynamicness to the actual pop. So for this one I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 7. Alright, at number 7 here we have the Mandalorian, and now this one is just the new design here for the Mandalorian, and I think that he looks really great here. I like how he's holding his blaster there in his hand. He's not wielding it as much so like he's ready to fire it, but it really shows off his armor very well here. There is an exclusive version of this one that is later on in the list, but for this one here I feel like it's pretty well done, and from the glam shot, the exclusive and the common version here seem to have quite a difference, almost maybe in how the paint job will look in the end. So I feel like this one's unique enough on its own, and I just really love the Mandalorian. Of course, he's the title character, and I think he looks really fantastic here, so I'm going to be giving this one a 4 out of 5, and now let's move on to number 6. Alright, at number 6 here we have the Mandalorian with his flamethrower, and this one is a Target exclusive, and I really love how they put him in his original armor here with the rusted helmet and the more simple look on his torso. I think it adds a lot more a kind of variation from the other newer version that we're getting here, and I just really love the flame effect coming out of his wrist there. I think that looks really great. The cape, just the outfit overall. Of course, I've already talked about the Mandalorian quite a bit here, but I think that he looks really great in this exclusive. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 5. Okay, at number 5 here we have Greef Karga, and I actually really love this character in the show. Carl Weathers does a fantastic job as this character. He adds a lot of comedic moments to the show, and I really do like that. He kind of starts off, I won't really say, I suppose, if I don't want to spoil it. Let me know if you guys would like to see a video of me talking more in depth about the actual plot of the show and my thoughts on it. I was thinking of doing that, but of course, this is more of a news video here. But for this design wise, I think that it's really well done here. I like how they added a bit of expression into his eyes and his face. It looks great. That mustache there he's rocking looks fantastic. The dual blasters there, and just his outfit overall looks fantastic. I really love the kind of almost Western look to their outfits in this series. I think that is really great and kind of grounds the Star Wars universe a bit more without having these super flashy costumes, which, don't get me wrong, I like those types of costumes, but for this one it kind of has that more rugged and down-to-earth look here. So I think they really nailed the design of Greef Karga here. So for this one, I am going to be giving it a 4 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 4. Alright, at number 4 here we have the Covert Mandalorian, and this one has a really unique design here with the green and blue color scheme on the helmet. I really love the helmet here. I really like how the eyes are done there. The sort of visor I think looks really great. I like how it has the antenna as well. I seem to gravitate more towards the helmets with the antennas. I think it just adds a lot to them, and I really love the outfit here. The pose is great, holding the rifle there over her shoulder. I think that looks fantastic. So just a really well done pop here. The cape's well done also. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 4.5 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 3. Alright, at number 3 here we have a really fantastic one. It is the Armorer, and this one is a pretty big character in the series. I really love their mask here, their helmet. It looks fantastic. It kind of gave me Game of Thrones vibes. I don't know why. I haven't even really watched that show, but just from the designs it kind of makes me think of that. I'm not sure why, but it looks fantastic. I love the sort of almost, I guess you would call it gold, but like a more like, I don't know, a more rusted gold kind of look to the helmet. I think it still looks fantastic though. The little kind of spikes coming out of the top of it. And I love just in the helmet, it's like complete darkness. It really shrouds this character in a lot of mystery as to who they could actually be. If anybody that we would actually know. I assume that it would be a new character if they were to reveal their identity. But I think that they look really fantastic here. I like how they're holding like their hammer there, because that's kind of what they make most of the weaponry out of, and the armor for the Mandalorian, the Beskar armor. So I really do enjoy the look of this one, so I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 2. Okay, at number 2 here, we have a really great design here. It is the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian, and this one has a pretty flashy design here, considering the Mandalorian are like, you know what, we want to stay hidden from now on, and this guy's just like, nah, I'm gonna wear some blue and yellow here. So I really do like the color scheme here. I really love around where the cheeks would be, the darker blue and then the lighter blue in the middle. It's almost like a sky blue and navy blue combining there, and I really love how that looks. It kind of adds more depth to the helmet there, and this one kind of has like 2 antennas on both sides, which is just fantastic. It really adds a lot of bulk to the helmet there, and that's what this character is meant to be, of course, being a heavy infantry Mandalorian. I love the machine gun there that he's wielding. I think that looks fantastic, and just the color scheme on this one's really unique and definitely makes it stand out among the other Mandalorian in the line. So just a really well done pop here, so I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 5. And now let's move on to number 1. Okay, at number 1 here we have the Mandalorian wearing his Beskar armor, and this one is an Amazon exclusive. I think it looks fantastic. It seems as if it's going to have a bit of a kind of chrome look to it, but not chrome as if like, oh, they're fully like making it a gold chrome pop, but instead just chroming the parts of the armor that should be chromed to make it look really great. It definitely makes this one stand out from the common version of it, and that's what I had mentioned earlier in the video. Once again, I really love the pose that he's in here. I think the design of this one is just really great here. I don't have a Mandalorian pop as of filming this video in my collection yet. I've been waiting for one that I really love the design of, and I also haven't really seen the Mandalorian pop, to be honest, out in the wild, because it feels like the show is very popular, of course, so it's selling out very quickly. I cannot imagine when the child pop comes out where that one will be, like if you'll even be able to find it. It's definitely going to sell out very quickly. I would love to see a Mandalorian pop holding like a little child pop as well. I think that would be really great, having a sort of companion piece there. But for this one on its own, I think it's very well done. I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 5. And now let's move on to my want list for the wave. Alright, so for my want list in the wave, I have 3 pops here. Now, there is a chance that some of these other ones, because they are pretty fantastic, I will wind up picking up. But for the ones that are pretty much guaranteed here, we have the Armorer, and then we have the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian, and then the Mandalorian wearing the Beskar armor, the Amazon exclusive. And if it's too difficult to find the Amazon exclusive or order that one, then I might consider getting the common version of that armor. And as well, if they look quite different in person, then maybe I'll consider picking up both of them. And then there are other ones, like the Incinerator Stormtrooper is pretty cool. I'd have to see that one in person. The Covert Mandalorian, it really depends at the time, and especially if there's any sort of sales or deals on them, like let's say a 3 for 33 deal at Hot Topic, then I might consider, if it's convenient, picking up one of these other ones. But I think overall the wave has a great design here. So now let's move on to the final verdict. Alright, so for the final score of the wave here and my final verdict, out of a score of 75, it made 55.5, and that translates over to 74%, which I feel like is a pretty great score here. I think that definitely the 2-pack here bogs it down quite a bit. If you wanted to kind of redo my score, you could definitely take out the 2-pack from this list, and maybe even some of the other ones in it if you would like. But let me know your thoughts on this wave. I'm always really curious to hear other people's perspectives on these different Funko Pop waves or whatever I'm ranking in the given video, because it's always interesting to hear the different points of views and why maybe you like the 2-pack more than I do, or maybe you'd have a different pop at number 1 here. So be sure to leave your list down below and let me know your comments and thoughts on my list here. Let me know if you think I should have moved some of the pops around here and which ones I should have put on the list, like in different places in it. So be sure to let me know all of that down below. I hope you all went on to enjoy the video. If you did, be sure to leave it a like and also subscribe if you want to see more ranking videos. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.